Sitting here again talking about the same things.
It's weeks like these. It's weeks like these, Red, where I kind of want to go back on vacation.
What? Hey, hold the fuck on now. I kind of am glad you're not on vacation anymore. You want to know why? Because now I can know for a fact you're not going to end the fucking stream early on me, dipshit.
Look, I was I meant when I said I was on vacation, my brain was also on vacation as well. It was on autopilot. Yeah, let me go ahead and explain.
Autopilot or was just drunk? Like, which one was it? Because it was in your speech a little bit there. You know, it's illegal to play golf while drunk, right?
Does that apply for mini golf too?
I mean, if they sell alcohol, maybe.
Yeah. Well, point is they didn't know. I wasn't that far gone, but I was gone enough to where I couldn't tell the difference between end stream and leave stream. So sorry for that, everybody. I kind of left you high and dry there, and then I came in, shut down the stream, and had you start back up again. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, for real, like if you wanted to absolutely railroad my YouTube career, buddy, you could have done that long ago already without having to pull that shit. I mean, that was just a really roundabout, crappy way to try.
Yeah, well, that's why they call this the fucking bullshit report, is because there's a whole lot of fucking bullshit going on.
You're goddamn right, you son
Welcome,
of a bitch.
Everybody, here tonight to the third edition. I think eventually we're going to lose count, but welcome to the FBS Report. We do this show every Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you in here, we're glad to see you guys in here. It is, I can't believe it, and I'm sure you can't either, Red, but here we are. We finally get to preview the college football season week by week. Week 0 starts in less than a week. And the chaos has already begun. We talk about college football chaos, but it's begun well before week 0 has even begun. You have the injury bug has been derailing seasons already. We're going to talk about everything revolving around Michigan, and I'm sure you have plenty of thoughts on that.
Shit. I got an alert on my phone as we were about to go live that Texas A&M running back, Quentin Joyner, I think his name is.
It's Texas
he might be out. Texas Tech, my bad. Texas Tech running back Quentin Joyner. He's out for the season apparently with an injury that was suffered in practice today. That's huge. That's a massive loss for Tech. I mean, that $28 million roster, I mean, you can't have them falling like flies right before the chaos gets started, right? Having everybody sweating bullets. Hopefully it's not a season-ending injury, but it's feared to be a season-ending injury according to what I saw on X, to be determined there.
It's an ACL tear, so that is.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, that's a killer right there. That pretty much will drive the season for Quentin Joyner.
Yeah.
So that is an absolutely huge loss.
See you next year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely huge loss for Tech right there. And that blows because I was super excited about watching him go out there and run all over these fools.
Especially with how shitty a Big 12 defense really is, like historically speaking, it's like prime targets for running backs. Like everyone always wants to defend the pass, because the quarterback runs off, but it's rare when you see a guy like an Ashton Genty or a Quentin Joyner that's going out there and just going hard on these defenses and really breaking it up. So massive, massive loss for Texas Tech. And obviously we hope that his injury recovers quickly and that he can be back on the field sooner than they expect. But obviously not this season. Tech's going to have to rely on the next man up, whoever that may be.
It's a sophomore. Jacoby Williams is going to have to take over the throne. He's not a transfer like everybody else Texas Tech got. This is a guy homegrown from Joey McGuire, so we'll get to see how well his development is. However Texas Tech seasons go, however it goes from this point onward, there better not be any excuses about, well, we lost this one very specific transfer.
Yeah,
this season is no. You picked up 97 transfers. Half of those guys are day one talents. You lose one of them, and now suddenly you can't win a game. That's not how it's going to work. I better not hear
no,
any of
for
you
real.
complain about that, especially if y'all go out and piss yourselves against somebody like Wyoming again.
Yeah, for real. Like there's still no excuse for Tech. Like they should still be able to make the Big 12 championship if they actually put all the pieces together and make a run. I don't think this one injury is going to be enough to derail a season. When I played high school football my sophomore year, our star running back tore his ACL right before the season began, and we made it all the way to the state semifinals and the playoffs. So It doesn't matter. You got to have that next man up and mentality, no matter if you got NIL or not.
Exactly. Ain't that the truth? Well, we got a lot to go over tonight. Red, did you want to get our first topic out of the way? If there, I'll let you take over since I left you high and dry last week.
Well, you almost let your members of Tardaria high and dry. Let's give a thank you to our Patreon members real quick. First, the Red Army Patreon members, our captains, Malik Freeman, Champ Gold, Brooklyn Polk, our sergeants, Jonathan Peck, TJ Stanley, Adonis Fanchon Shaw, Anthony Brown, Edgar Carter, Cameron Smith, Roger Hughes. No eat 'em on sandwiches. Squid.
Well, thank you to all of our members of Tardaria. There's so many of you that I can't even go through and name off the list. I have to protect my voice box for what it's worth. But know that if your name is on here, I, and by extension, everyone in Tardaria, greatly supports your support. Greatly supports your support. There you go.
Fucking Jesus. Have you been drinking tonight? I'm stone cold sober. I can't be the drunk. You can't be the drunk one here. That's not how this shit works. It's not in the contract.
No, my brain just runs on autopilot a lot. You should know this by now.
That and soda from Chick-fil-A, apparently. So, all right.
Oh, yeah. That's never stopping. Never stopping.
Also, one more thing. Obviously, check out our merch stores, squidtard-shop.fourthwall.com. And you can get this shirt at red5478-shop.fourthwall.com, as well as a John Cooper shirt and a bunch of other things that you can get some good.
Them's the truth. And both of those stores are in the description. So if you want to go and check that out, then by all means.
All right. We paid the bills. Now let's raise some hell. First off, Squid, I really do want to just kind of dive a little deeper into your vacation. What all did you do, man?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I did kind of touch on that a bit in my Before the Chaos video, showed some clips that I took, but really for the most part, it was a laid back sort of family vacation. For the majority of it, we spent time doing putt-putt, golf, and then just chilling out on the beach. I went on quite a few beach walks and took some damage from the sun. And because, everybody knows it by now. This is my habitat. I spend pretty much all day in here. I go outside maybe at maximum 30 minutes a day. And so I'm basically a ghoul. So when I went out there, even with like 70 proof sunscreen on some parts of my body, it still wasn't enough to prevent some sunburns. Now, thankfully, I didn't get attacked too bad. Most of them have already healed by now. And I got a decent tan to go along with it. So I won't instantly melt the moment I go outside. So that's always nice. But yeah, that for the most part, we just kind of, did our usual beach stuff. I did my beach walks, tried to I ate a lot of food. I'll say that much. I'm pretty much shrimp starved. No more shrimp at this point, because that's all I pretty much had for the entire week.
Shrimp starved. Oh, that's a quote. Real quick, Dumb Gamers. For $10, definitely living up to the Sugar Daddy name on my YouTube channel. No trolling this time. Just came to say that my first day at the University of Houston is next week. Go Cougs! Congratulations, buddy. I'm happy for you. Go get that degree.
Best of luck to you, brother.
And I also saw this from Bradley Weirich. Fun fact, I was in the same recruiting class as Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley when I played my freshman year of college ball.
Ooh,
think about that. That's how fucking old I am.
Elite.
I saw that. I
absolutely
thought that was
elite
really
talent right there.
Yeah, I was in a great recruiting class. D3 was where it was at, man. All right. Well, now we're going to actually get to the news, and I think, especially the viewers on my YouTube channel know, I have some thoughts about the NCAA's utter finger wag and slap on the wrist at Michigan, because here's the thing, guys. I'm going to kind of rant. Squid's going to let me go because I'm not giving him a fucking choice.
Meh.
So here's the deal. I already talked about this on my channel on Friday night. One thing I want to make clear, I'm not even mad at Michigan about the whole thing. That sounds weird to say coming from a diehard Buckeye, but I'm not even mad at Michigan because they played the system like it was a fucking fiddle. They know how powerful they are compared to the NCAA. They knew they could get away with it. They knew that it was illegal and that what they were doing could get them in trouble, but they also knew there was no way they were going to get away with this. They were not going to lose a fuck ton from here because what's going to happen? The Big Ten was going to go to bat for them to defend Michigan either way. The only team would go against them is Ohio State, but when you got 17 other member conference teams wanting to toe the party line, who's going to give a shit, right? The NCAA absolutely bent themselves over the barrel for Michigan here. I know I saw a lot of comments on that video talking about how I was just being a homer for Ohio State and that I just wanted to watch the world burn, that the NCAA is changing and they're saying and all this shit's pointless. And that one comment I saw over and over again was the rules state that vacated wins and the stuff that I was touting should have happened is not supposed to happen when it's cheating. Okay, then what the fuck is exactly supposed to happen? You don't want to vacate wins? Fine. You don't want to bowl ban kids that weren't on that team? Totally understand that completely. Not even remotely going to argue the bowl bans because those fucking suck. And I'm glad that they are gone. $30 million fine on an athletic department that generates over $274 million per year. Per year. Not over 4 years, yearly. Okay? Sure, it might hurt a little short term, but you know what? Michigan's one of those big schools that literally has an alumni and donor base deeper than the Mariana fucking Trench. So you know they're just gonna pony up and be like, all right, here's $1 million there, $2 million here, 500,000 there. Oh, you want to cut a check for $10 million? All right, Bob, there you go. Tom, you want to throw in $5 million? All right, Brady, you're good. It doesn't fucking make any sense. You can argue that, oh, well, that money's going to go to the athletic fund for the NCAA and blah, 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 blah. But okay, is it going to actually damage Michigan long-term? Did you take away any scholarships? No! You didn't even take away a scholarship, which you have more than the right to do. You don't want to hurt the kids now? Fine. We have the transfer portal open. They're free to leave whenever they want after this season. Take away their fucking scholarships at least. They need to know this shit's not going to be tolerated. Because if there is one thing that gets into my craw about the state of current college football, it's the fact that there is no enforcement arm. The NCAA can't enforce jack shit on the football level anymore. You can say, well, they can enforce basketball, this, blah, blah, blah. Fuck it. College football is basically the Wild West right now. They can't do shit to touch college football. If you're in the group of 5, they got a sniper rifle trained on your fucking head and your dick at 24/7 time. If you're in one of the power conferences, they'll look the other way. Of course they will. SMU joined a power conference. You know what they're doing? The same shit they were doing in the mid-1980s when they got caught. They're literally just playing along with everybody else now. It's disgraceful. And it literally shows there is no point for the NCAA to be running football at this point. There really isn't the FBS on its own. It needs to break away from the grips of the NCAA, and there needs to be what I call a Black Sox moment in the sport where it forces them to put somebody in charge that's going to actually run the fucking show. I really pushed my time. I won't ramble on all night.
Yeah, no. I mean, you hit a lot of the points on there pretty good. And this is, I guess I could start out by saying this. And I mean, like you said, you hit a lot of these points right on the money. The NCAA is slowly becoming a more and more powerless organization. And it's gotten to a point now to where, it's much less that they want to do something but can't. I feel like they just don't want to do anything anymore because it's like they know that they're in a lower position than these teams that they go after. And it's really going to suck because I feel like they're going to, they can't target Michigan. So I feel like, oh, you know what? If we can't go after Michigan, you know what we're going to do? Central Michigan. All right. That's it, buddy. That's it. Bang, bang, bang. And they're going to punish Central Michigan for everything.
Here's the problem. They can target Michigan, but they don't have the fucking balls, the cojones, the jewels, the crusty diamonds to fucking do it.
Well, it's funny that they tried to tiptoe around this whole thing and basically give him the lightest punishment to avoid backlash because they were so worried about a lawsuit or an appeal or them suing the NCAA. And then guess what? After that short little tiny little spanking you gave him, barely even that is like you gave him one of those, and then after all of that, they still went out. They're still going after you. They're still trying to appeal it and sue you.
Literally, you're absolutely right. While you're choking on your own tongue right there,
yeah,
you're absolutely right. Michigan I would have at least respected Michigan a little bit more and be like, okay, fine, it's done. We'll pay the fucking fine and move on. No, they're going to court saying, oh, it's too excessive. There's no evidence. Yeah, you destroyed the evidence. The NCAA even said so in the goddamn report, you dipshits.
Well, that's about the stupidest thing you can do if you're Michigan, because now you're getting the NCAA and you're getting all these people to look further and further into this because you're trying to claim that you did nothing wrong, and now you've forced the hand of all of these investigators to look deeper into the case. And then through that, they might potentially find something that they didn't know of before, which could set up an even bigger punishment. And then you could really be in trouble. It's about the dumbest thing you can do in that situation. But who can really blame them? I mean, all these other schools have been trying to do the same thing for them. Every time the NCAA goes after another big brand, they do the same thing. Look at what Tennessee did a couple of years ago. Granted, the NCAA went after Tennessee for something that was legal at the time of them doing it, such as the Spire Sports Group, Nico flying on the jet thing.
Well, let's be honest, the NCAA half-assed the NIL rules. That was the first fucking mistake.
Exactly. And about Michigan, well, I guess I won't touch on the NCAA anymore because there's no point. We know that they're a gutless, weaker organization that's slowly getting weaker and weaker and being siphoned by these big brands that are slowly growing stronger and stronger. We knew all that to be true, and everybody knew that nothing was going to come up for this. You knew it. I knew it. Hell, even even the population of Russia knew it. Everybody knew that Michigan was not going to receive any sort of punishment for what they did. And back to Michigan, and this is the important thing that people need to take from this. Two things can be true, and one of them you'll probably disagree with, but it's the truth. In 2023, Michigan was the best team in college football. Even after all the punishments came through, they beat Penn State, they beat Ohio State, they beat Alabama, and then they won the national championship without Connor Stallions or anybody involved in that. So they were the best team last year, but they cheated to get to that point. Both of those things can be true. They were the best team that year, but they cheated to get to that point. That's what everybody's going to know them as. So I guess that's the silver lining when you're looking at it from a rival's perspective or somebody that hates Michigan for what they did. It's that everybody that was there to witness this national title is going to know that this was something they got because they cheated to get it. Now, that just because their title hasn't been taken away, that doesn't remove the fact that that was the case. They cheated to get to that point. Now they have to bear that punishment. Even if there's not an official asterisk beside it, it's, basically all of college football is looking at that title like there is an asterisk to it. So, I mean, I get why Michigan would run around and claim that title. I get why they're going to, flex it because at the end of the day, it's a national title. I mean, there have been tons of programs that have cheated and not won shit. I mean, Ole Miss and Hugh Freeze, remember back in 2016, they cheated illegally. They bought everybody. They got snitched on and had to take a 2-year bowl ban. And you know what they won in the process? Jack diddly doo-dah ball sack squat. They didn't win a damn thing. So you got to give credit to Michigan where it's due for actually getting to that point and winning the national title. But it's not going to take away from the fact that you did cheat to get there. So all the power to you, I guess. Until the NCAA or any sort of
chats.
governing organization does really anything about it, this is what's going to happen. And, they talked about why, you could have, because the NCAA, one of their biggest excuses for what they did was, they didn't want to punish the current players. You didn't even punish the ones that were involved in it. You barely even punish the coaches. Jim Harbaugh doesn't even care. You give him a 10-year show cause. Who gives a shit? He's over there coaching the NFL. He's probably not even going to come back to college at any point in his life. And all these other coaches with, show causes, who cares? Who gives a shit?
Is barely going to get a job above the high school level the rest of his life. You think he's really going to have a shot to coach in college ever again after this shit? His reputation was thrown in the dirt. It's mud. His name is literally mud. I'm going to get through a couple of super chats real quick. And there's one that I want to point out that isn't paid, but I saw and I was like, okay, I got to address this. Rye Guy says, I would let the conference run things. No, that's how we get the fuck into this mess. Because if you let the conferences run things, who do they look out for? They look out the sport as a whole or just themselves?
Yeah, they look out for the conference themselves, and that just
there's a reason
the rich get richer at that point.
There's a reason the Major League Baseball has a commissioner. There's a reason the NFL has a commissioner. It's because if you let the conferences or the teams basically let the prisoners run the jail, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to go to hell in a handbasket quicker than you think, and then it's going to get really fucking bad, really fucking fast. So I understand the want of just because that would be quicker. Sure, like just let the conferences run things. Yeah, sure, I get the understanding, but okay, are you going to let the SEC and the Big Ten police each other? They're not going to allow that. Imagine the commissioner of the Big Ten going to the commissioner of SEC and I'm going to bowl ban Alabama because you guys made some mistakes recruiting and doing your violations on that. You know what he would do? He would spit on his fucking shoes and be like, yeah, sure, whatever, bitch.
Right. No. What we need is, and this is probably the best solution for something like this, is to take the NCAA in the way it is now, factory reset it from the ground up, and then build it back. And the way I would do that is the format would be sort of like the judicial branch, like the Supreme Court. You have a bunch of, say 11 or 12, maybe ADs or something like that. Sort of like how the playoffs work. You got a playoff committee. And that's the main reason why they couldn't take away Michigan's national title, is because the NCAA doesn't have the power to take away their national title. That would be up to the playoff committee. So it's something to take into note when you talk about something like this, is because they don't have all the power. They can't take away a title that they didn't even give to them in the first place.
I'm going to disagree slightly there with you, Squid, because the NCAA doesn't give titles for FBS. They've never given a national title directly. There's no NCAA FBS national championship trophy. It's only the FCS down that have officially sanctioned trophies. Instead, you got this fucking middle-age, Stone Age style cabal of selectors recognized by the NCAA, like the AP, the Coaches Poll, the Heritage Foundation, the College Football Hall of Fame, and on, the College Football Playoff, and on and on and on. The guys that's why you always see 4 or 5 different trophies for the national championship every time they do the victory celebration in the stadium. On the field, sure, you got the gold muffler pipe, but then afterwards, then you see the Crystal Football, you see the Grantling Rice Trophy, you see the big Stadium Bowl trophy that the Riders give out. So, whose name escapes me at the moment. Then you see the AP trophy. The NCAA could say for 2023, we're not going to recognize this championship the College Football Playoff Committee awarded you. And the College Football Playoff Committee could, at their own discretion, revoke the title if they saw it be appropriate, because as an independent governing body, they don't have to listen to the NCAA, but it's probably a good idea for you to do that, since it's kind of where all of your fucking teams come from. And you follow the same precedent with the AP poll and the coaches poll and the other polls in the past that have had titles vacated. Hell, the Heisman Trophy Award got vacated from Reggie Bush because the NCAA asked them to do it. They couldn't make it happen, but they asked them to do it, and they did, because they want to keep that good working relationship.
We're seeing it in real time. I think a lot of the power right now is going to the conferences. Michigan has been punished more recently by their conference than they have been the NCAA. We saw it with back in 23 when this whole thing initially happened. You know, it wasn't even the NCAA that went after Michigan. It was when everything came out, it was the Big Ten Conference that suspended Jim Harbaugh for those first 3 meaningless Mickey Mouse games or whatever. But then he did get suspended for the Ohio State game, which put Sharon Moore as the head coach for that game against Ohio State. So, you know, the Big Ten has done way more about this than the NCAA does. So to be honest, I'm not even sure the playoff committee, if in that situation, would even bow down to the NCAA, because if none of these programs are going to take them seriously, you know, what makes you think the playoffs are going to take them seriously as well? So like I said, it's going to have to be where the NCAA is taken down from the ground up. And at this point, with how out of control NIL and the transfer portal and everything else is, where I don't even know where you start to fix something this devastating to the game. I think it's so far gone at this point that it's going to take a basically full on nuke to fix this, is what I would think. So
it's going to take like I mentioned, a Black Sox moment. I say Black Sox for those of you that are not familiar with baseball. In 1919 in the World Series, the Chicago White Sox played the Cincinnati Reds. The White Sox got with a bunch of gamblers, and half of the team, I think 8 players it was, threw half of the World Series games and let the Reds basically win the 1919 World Series. They got caught because they went against a couple of the gamblers and for a few games, and it turned into a whole fucking thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Jonathan Carlson mentions it in the chat. Just go watch 8 Men Out on YouTube or anywhere you can stream it, and that pretty much shows it all up. It's really, really good. Tells the tale of Say It Ain't So Joe. But the point is that because of that scandal, it nearly ruined baseball. I mean, at the time, gambling was really looked down upon in America, and it was seen as like really wrong. So the fact that baseball had become so corrupted by gambling threatened the entire sport. And what they did is all the owners of all the baseball teams in the American League and the National League got together, and they took an independent outsider, not one of their own, but somebody from outside of baseball, and elected them as that man as commissioner. His name escapes me at the moment, but he was a military general, I think. And they elected him as the first commissioner of baseball. And that was the man that banned 8 White Sox players for life for nearly killing baseball. I'm saying it's going to take Kennesaw Mountain Landis. Thank you. He was a judge. Thank you for correcting me. I'm not a baseball guy. I just know that bit. So I think it's going to take an event on that scale that threatens the entire integrity of college football, to where it's going to affect the bottom line. I mean, let's just call a spade here. It's going to affect the money talks, bullshit walks, to where they'll all finally put their egos down for 5 seconds and put somebody in charge that's actually looking out for the betterment of the game and the sport, not just his fucking wallet. So we're going to get through the rest of these super chats real quick. JFKH, please ramble. I like hearing it. Well, I have been. KV Nova Neko, it's really a worrisome precedent. And again, at $2, this should have been the White Sox moment, to be honest. And I think that it could have been, but I also don't think that it was big enough. Like, as crazy as it sounds, cheating to win is not new in college football. It's really not.
No.
It's
like
been a thing. People have been cheating to win since they started making a business out of it in the late 1800s, when you go back to the Ivy League dominance days. So that alone wasn't enough to cause it to be like that. But I can tell you one thing that could cause it to be like that. If gambling does get a little bit too deeply involved in one of these schools and someone starts throwing fucking games, that could cause it.
Ooh.
We'll see.
You're sliding into John Mateer territory right there.
Well, speak of the devil and he appears, we're going to talk about John fucking Mateer, because goddamn, this is a dumb son of a bitch. Like, good Lord.
Granted, he did. I mean, that was a stupid thing to do, but granted, he did come out and say that it was fake and that it didn't happen. It's still gonna force an investigation, but who else am I? Who am I to say to not believe him? You know what I mean? Because you all say some stupid shit sometimes, and you got to take into account that most of these guys are college kids. You know that they're our age. I mean, I'm sure at some point,
pause. They're your age, not my age.
Okay,
I'm 30.
They're my age.
Oh, I'm smarter than these fuckers.
Okay, well, for those of you who are my age or around it, or maybe even younger,
kids.
Yeah, really. Yeah, for those of you around my age, even younger, how many of you would be okay with your private Discord DMs getting leaked right now? Ask yourselves that. How many of you would be okay with that? How many?
Be honest in the chat. Be fucking honest in the chat.
Yeah, right. And don't lie. Don't lie. Yeah, nobody.
No, not me. No. Oh, Jonathan Carlson's fine with it. All right, hackers. I'm just kidding. Don't. Nope. I have done. No.
The ones that are saying it's fine. The ones that are saying it's fine don't have Discord. That's the point. They don't have Discord. That to say, everybody, at some point in their lives, just even online, has said some incredibly dumb shit that they don't want to be exposed onto the internet. And a lot of it is jokes, and a lot of it is stupid things that can potentially get them in trouble if it gets leaked like 5 years later. So I don't know who leaked this, and I don't even know whether or not it's true or false. 90% sure, Red, that this is totally false, and that was a joke that Mateer said completely out of context. So whatever happens, but that's what I believe.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's not like somebody hacked his Venmo account. It was public information. He had it set to public. They weren't private transactions behind a wall and someone hacked his shit. It was public knowledge. And he's still putting that shit out there, which kind of makes it more believable, I guess you could say, that it could be a fucking non-story here. But again, I don't care what your age is. Okay, yeah, I'm 30. All right, I'm a man. I'm 30. And it would not surprise me at all if Mateer was just being a dumb, stupid son of a bitch, like most of us were between 18 and 23. So I can totally believe that. But when you're 18, by law, you're a man, and you are suddenly fully responsible for the consequences of your own actions. You can say what you want when you're 15, 16, 17 within reason, but the second that your ID shows that you're 18 years old and Uncle Sam hears, or some agency hears that you're being a fucking idiot, guess what? It's your ass. And that's why you need to be smart, especially when you are a Division I FBS student athlete. You need to be representing the best of your university that you attend and not just be another drunken college student. If you're just a drunken college student going to frat parties and being a fucking Johnny Manziel in your own head, of course, you can get away with that shit because you're not going to be playing in front of millions of people on Saturdays. But if you are playing in front of millions of people on Saturdays, you're a representative of the university and you need to act accordingly. I'm not just saying that. I had to live that. Even as a Division III football player, we are explicitly told you need to act in accordance with the university. So, student athlete. Okay, I know. Some people are giving me shit for saying student athlete. Call me an old son of a bitch because that's what we're called. But by definition, they still are a student at the school and an athlete for said school. So,
they represent the school. Yeah, no. All these players that play for these schools, they represent the school. And if they do something stupid, that doesn't just make them look bad. That makes the entire school look bad, especially if they go and defend it. Yeah, right. But I will say this, even if this all comes out to be true and he did do that, who gives a shit? I don't. Who's gonna punish them for it? You think the NCAA is gonna suddenly grow up here and be like, oh, Oklahoma, You done messed up now, buddy.
Yeah,
I don't think anything's going to come of it, though. I think this is some sort of like it basically is every single offseason, some random thing that comes out and gets exposed, and everybody makes a bigger deal of it than it actually is. So I doubt anything will come of this.
Can I just say right now, I mean, all you all saying student athlete with air quotes in the comments, I'm just going by the literal definition of the term student athlete. I know now that these kids are getting paid millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of them just tens of thousands of dollars on top of a scholarship to go to their school. I get it. Totally understand where you're coming from. But respectfully, with all the kindness in my heart, shut the fuck up. That's literally the definition. Anyway.
You're not far off you're not far off from that. Well, as I said when we started this whole thing off, even if it is the offseason, the preseason, and we're not even at week 0 yet, that does not exclude anybody from dealing with the chaos. And part of the chaos of this week has been the injury report. The injury bug has been on overtime this week and has been going after some very unfortunate individuals. So we'll start out with Alabama's running back. Jam Miller, starting running back for Alabama. They lost Justice Haynes to Michigan, so this was going to be their starting running back. But he has gone out, as Kalen DeBoer has announced, with an upper body injury in practice. So he's going to be out. It's not going to be out for the entire season, but he's more than likely going to be out for the first half of the season, and that's going to be a big problem because Alabama's running back chart after him doesn't look all that strong. Now, they did pick up another guy in the portal, Dre Washington from Louisiana, but Jam Miller, there was a lot of hype on this guy, and now they're going to be losing him for potentially half the season, if not more than that. So going to be very, very tough to, I think, sort of establish a good run game, at least for Bama.
It's terrible. It's really terrible, especially considering what did they say what it was? I just keep on hearing suffered an upper body injury. Didn't say specifically what. Some people are saying, I think someone's saying in the chat, props a torn pec muscle or something. Upper body injuries, when you think of running back, you don't immediately think, okay, well, that's not a huge deal. It's not the legs. It could, depending on where it is, could be worse than the legs. If it's in the ribs, if it's in your chest or your ribs, you kind of need that shit to breathe and run hard and be a bull for the ride. That's where
it could take you out. It could take you out of football for life. No, every single injury is, you can't take any sort of injury for granted. It could be something to where he recovers next week and he's out there on the field week 1, or, this could be career ending. You never really know with these sort of injuries. Very, very tough. Now, this isn't an injury, but this is another player that's going to be out potentially for some time. And this is according to Dabo Sweeney. So we're talking about Clemson here. Their tight end. Clemson's tight end, Ian Sheffield, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's been arrested on suspicion of a DUI. Now, at a program like Georgia, who cares? Suit up next week. You'll be right on the field. Nobody's going to give a shit. That's what Georgia do. But for Clemson, the man of God, Dabo Sweeney, he don't take that. He does not take that. He said, quote, he will miss some competition to start this season as a consequence. So you can expect Clemson to be down a tight end at the start of their season. How long will he be out for? Nobody knows. He might hit the transfer portal before the season even begins. Nobody has a clue with how that's
honestly
working out,
I would first off, what a fucking idiot. He transferred inside the school. He went from playing basketball to football to play tight end for them. And then he just absolutely decides he's going to pull the Georgia route and just get a DUI before the season even starts instead of just focusing on the game. That's, again, goes back to the fact that we're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds here for the most part, and they need to make proper decisions. Clown of the week, yes, but it's a very serious situation. I'm not going to make any jokes about it. Somebody could have fucking died for all we know. Because, how many times have we seen athletes getting drunk, going behind the wheel, and, ending somebody's life, unfortunately? It happens way too fucking often. And there's too many idiots out there, and there's not enough common sense. So it's really just a goddamn shame. You want to transfer? Fine. You got a lot to prove, though. if you're going to try to get your career back on track, this is a hard thing to come back from. It's not impossible, but it's going to be really hard for him to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've seen stuff like that actually happen back in the peak of the Georgia driving incidents. Remember Jalen Carter? Jalen Carter. Now, his accident, he didn't directly cause the death of 2 people, but he was a part of that drag race that eventually led to such an accident happen. So, they should be taken very seriously. And I'm glad Dabo still has a pair of balls and is willing to do something like that.
Dabo's always going to have a pair of balls. Like, he's an old. I don't like him for his team. I don't like the way he handles the transfer portal, which is barely at all. I do like his coaching style though, because he's very old school when he approaches it. He doesn't give a fuck who you are, how many stars were on your recruiting class. If you're not going to show up and play, he'll find the guy that will, and they'll play fucking hard as shit for him because of that. He commands unwavering loyalty for that program. So
now is a chance. Yeah, LSU's chances of winning that game just went up from 5% to 6%.
Well, it's Brian Kelly. We all know he's going to find a way to blow it.
Yeah, of course. That's what's going on with them. But there's plenty more action where that came from. Plenty more unfortunate news. Michigan's 5-star true freshman offensive tackle, Andrew Babaloa, he was expected to get some playing time, probably be on the starting O-line this year. He is feared to have suffered a season-ending knee injury. So we don't know the details on that, just like we don't know the details on any of these other situations. But that is a absolutely huge loss for the Michigan offensive line. That could go a long way into how good their line is going to be going forward. But yeah, tough loss for Michigan right there. That's
a critical position, blindside left tackle right there. You need to have someone that can be an anchor on the offensive line playing in that position. Right. And
especially for a team like Michigan, whose entire philosophy is running the ball. They run. That's their thing. They run the ball down your throats and don't throw the football unless they absolutely have to.
Absolutely.
That's how it's going to be this year.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. And especially with it being a knee injury. Offensive line, that is the last position you ever want to have somebody get socked up with a knee injury. Arm injury, yeah, you can put some dirt on it, be fine. Chest injury, you can bullshit your way through some pass blocks. Knee is like, you can't fuck with that. That's you're down, and you're going to be down for a while. And I hope it's not season-ending injury. Like, I'm not one of those Buckeye fans that'll wish injuries upon my rivals just so I could beat them. I'd rather them come at me fully healthy and us come at them fully healthy, and we just beat them because we're the better fucking team. But it's a part of the game, and it's a damn shame to see, and I do hope that he gets a speedy recovery. Number 1 player from the state of Kansas in the class of 2025, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no, he's an insane talent, yeah.
Like a great talent, great player. Could
remind me a lot of David Sanders.
Be a great player in the offense in the NFL one day if he plays it right, but take this medical red shirt, come back next year stronger than ever.
That's right. That's the way it should be. And we touched on this a little bit earlier, obviously, but this is probably one of the biggest losses for this team. Texas Tech running back Quentin Joyner tore his ACL. This announced just a few hours ago, and he will be missing the entirety of the 2025 season. And that is a huge loss for Texas Tech. And again, we touched on this earlier. They have so many transfers on the team that I think they'll find a way to adapt to it. But no, there was a lot of hype on Joyner this year, and for them to go out before the season even begins, that is a huge loss for Texas Tech, especially from a team that we don't know what to expect with a team like this, to where their entire roster is built from the portal. So the
good news for Tech is that it is the Big 12. It is chaos conference. You don't really know what's going to happen. We start getting a little ahead of ourselves here a little bit. We start week 0 with Farmageddon, and those are 2 of the top teams in the country, Kansas State and Iowa State. They're going to be duking it out. Texas Tech, I predicted them to potentially be in the Big 12 championship coming up this December to play against I think it was Kansas State or Arizona State. Sorry. And I think that overall, whenever you go the full transfer route and you just bring in a fuck ton of talent, it's always going to be a risk. You can go one of two ways. You're either going to be 2023 Florida State or 2024 Florida State. There's some in between there, as we saw with Colorado and Prime, where if you're rebuilding the entire squad year after year through the transfer portal, you could have a pretty decent team that's better than good, but it's also kind of like playing Russian roulette. And especially if you get a bunch of great players, but you got no fucking depth to back it up through your recruiting efforts, you're going to have a bad time, like what happened with Florida State in 24. Their biggest problem, they had no depth. They had some great players, sure, but they had no fucking depth. Colorado had solid players all around, just no stars. Oh, Travis Hunter was literally it. So
Travis Hunter Merchant.
Yeah, Travis Hunter and the guy that carried his bags that can't even start for the Cleveland Browns in week 1. The fucking, like, you can build a great team through transfers if you play it right and you scout correctly. But if you don't, it's going to be bad. It's going to be real fucking bad. I mentioned at the top of the show because it broke right before we came on, but I really do wish Joyner the best of luck. I doubt this also means he stays at Texas Tech. He'll probably go play somewhere else next year for more money or for a pay cut because they might not want to keep him around.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. If Texas Tech, if you mention either scenario A where they 2023 Florida State or scenario B. If scenario B happens and Texas Tech winds up tanking, I think they're going to be in for a very, very rough 2025, 2026. It's going to take them a while to recover from that because I think at that point, Joey McGuire
will roll with the tortillas.
No, they'll throw them out just like the tortillas. They literally will. So I think at that point, we're going to have to see how it pans out. Still a lot of time from now until the season begins, so we'll see kind of what their depth chart looks like, what they bring to the table. But I'm sure they'll find a way to adapt. Unlike this next team right here, this news actually broke midway through the show. I mean, this literally just happened, by the way. So,
what happened?
If you thought Oklahoma State couldn't get punished enough, Red, guess what? They just lost one of their only safeties. Oklahoma State and he didn't even get injured. They dismissed Zaquan Patterson from the program, and nobody knows why. They haven't explained why he's dismissed from the program. All we know is that they just lost Zaquan Patterson and they dismissed him from the program. Nobody knows.
Miami? Hang on, I'm looking this up right now. What the fuck?
Yeah, he was a transfer from Miami, committed to Oklahoma State, and they just dismissed him from the team. I don't know what he did. Before anybody asked, I don't know what the hell he did. I don't know what the details are on what happened. All we know is that he got dismissed. So I'm sure Mike Gundy will come out in the coming days and explain, because that is a requirement at this point. He is due for an explanation. Considering the hot seat he's on, he just came off an 0-9 in the conference season. You need about everybody you can get. You just lost one of your only safeties that you had. You're going to have to pull people out of the benches or out of the stands now to find somebody who can get in the secondary. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know why that happened. It must have been something extremely serious for them to go ahead and can this guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate on what it could be. I just did a quick couple of scans. Brett McMurphy was the one that first reported it, of course. I'm not going to speculate as to what happened there. There's no a quick reads I saw didn't mention anything there. He just transferred from Miami back in April. And that was because it was a personality thing with him. It wasn't a good fit with the Hurricanes, per Mario Cristobal and per Zaquan himself. I don't know. I don't fucking know what could have caused this. I hope that it's just because something just didn't click with Oklahoma State and he decided that he is going to just fuck off and enter the portal again in the winter and just do something else. But I don't know, dude. You got to have a really good reason, I think, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, with something like this, they mentioned specifically that he was dismissed from the team, which means that somebody,
it wasn't him.
The coaches,
it wasn't him walking away. The coach
somebody
told him, "Get the fuck out." So he did something to piss off Gundy and company. I'm not going to say what, because I genuinely don't know, and I'm not going to start putting in a bunch of bullshit into the rumor mill.
No.
But
well, here's the
here's
biggest problem. Yeah. Well, here's the biggest problem. And I mean, we could speculate all day on what it could be, but I will say this, if that's a locker room issue and he was having disagreements with the team and it's getting that bad already, holy shit, Oklahoma State, they might tank bad. And, you know, we talk about toilet teams. We could discuss that all day, but I predicted them to make a bowl game this year. And from the looks of it, with this already happening and the foundation falling apart this early, holy shit, dude. I don't, at this rate, if they come out and they just completely collapse again, I don't see how Gundy makes it. I really don't see how Gundy makes it through this year.
Yeah, if they don't make a bowl game, Gundy's not going to survive in Stillwater another season 100%. I'm immediately thinking in my head that this is a canary in the coal mine situation. There is something deeper going on at Oklahoma State that we don't know about. I can't speculate what happened. I'm not going to say what happened with this particular individual, but it's not a good sign for team chemistry and team morale when you're throwing guys on the street 10 days before kickoff for a season where there is a lot of expectations of trying to make a comeback. It's really a bad sign. And I fear that Gundy's could be on the way out if this is how things are going to be going down now, and that this is just a sign of things to come. Hopefully it's not, for his sake. Hopefully everybody comes out better from the whole thing, but rarely does that happen in these situations.
Well, there's scenarios where I get on here, like when certain coaches get fired, like when Mark Stoops eventually gets canned, you know, I'm going to make a video telling him to get out and probably laugh about it. Like, ha ha ha, you know, like, you know, making fun of Kentucky fans for it. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that with Oklahoma State because Mike Gundy has been an icon of college football for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And
Gundy is Oklahoma State. That is the identity.
And knowing him and, you know, even if he does get canned from Oklahoma, this is just worst case scenario. If he does get canned, I feel like somebody out there is going to end up taking him. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he does retire. But the day he does retire, it is going to be a sad day for college football because he has been such a major icon. Yeah, oh boy. Not Oklahoma State. That is not a fit. If Coach O, if he's coming back,
Cowboys.
Yeah. If he's coming back, he ain't going to Oklahoma State. I'll tell you that much. He's going somewhere in the deep South, whether that's LSU again or somewhere else. Like maybe it's Tulane. I don't know if John Summerall winds up taking the Kentucky job like these people think he is. Then maybe he goes to Tulane. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, you know, Oklahoma State, they're not getting Coach O. It's going to be somebody, probably a coordinator, an up and coming coordinator. Watch it be Tom Allen. You think Tom Allen would take the Oklahoma State job if that were a possibility?
I could see it. I mean, Oklahoma State's not a bad gig. They really invest heavily in their football program, so it's the main focus of their athletic brand for sure. I mean, that and wrestling for Oklahoma State. Those are the two big points of contention there for them to be great. So I think whoever would want to step up and take that Oklahoma State job if Gundy is gone, I think that they would, you know, jump on it in a heartbeat. Tom Allen, sure, you could argue that, but we'll have to wait and see where the cards kind of fall as the season goes forward. I don't think, regardless of what happens this season, I don't think that Oklahoma State's going to fire him mid-season if they go like 0-4 to start, because Gundy has too much respect for them to do that. I think they would quietly dismiss him at the end of the season, let him get a full ride in as a thank you, because I don't think a State fan at all. I don't think any Cowboys from Oklahoma State and the fans and the alumni, I don't think any of them hate Gundy. I don't think there's a person out there, if you're a fan of Oklahoma State, that you're not a fan of Mike Gundy. I think you're probably not a fan of the way things have gone, that he's definitely struggled to adapt to the new times with NIL and the new way they do things, but that doesn't mean he's a bad coach. He's still a good coach. You know, it's just times are changing.
It's a Mike Norvell situation. After the seasons that he's had, all the great memories he's had with Oklahoma State, kind of like what Norvell did with Florida State. One bad year isn't enough to break the ice, completely destroy the foundation. But if it's a continuing thing and it goes into this next year and it's the same problem, then I could definitely see, them eventually saying, hey, you know what? You've been great for this program. We love you, but you got to go. I mean, that's what happened with Matt Brown at North Carolina. He had a bunch of really good years, but eventually the foundation cracked there. He started not performing up to par, and they decided to go in a different direction. Now, North Carolina is a bunch of dummies because turns out they traded one fossil for another, but that's beside the point. So I don't know how this is going to pan out, whether or not Oklahoma State's actually going to, we'll see. But losing one of their only members, because they only have one scholarship safety now. Free safety. They only have one. So that if something happens, if something happens to him, what do they do? At that point, you got to pull in the
lay down and die. That's all you can do. Just lay on the ground and wait for
accept your fate.
To come.
Accept your fate. Yeah, you're in the Big 12.
You're in chaos conference. All you can do is be a speed bump for everybody else to run you over with.
That's absolutely the right way to look at it. Well, one more thing before we get into everyone's favorite preview. I did want to talk about this, and you touched on it. Sometimes I hate being part of this conference. What were these idiots thinking? This is so dumb, and you can't laugh because this is your dumbass conference.
I know, but I'm fucking. You know what?
This has been talked about for a while now, and it's only been touched on by trolls, thankfully. But you actually had some complete freaking morons in the Big Ten office just getting together in a group and, basically say, it would be a great idea, a 24 to 2018 playoff. No. Nobody's going to watch it. Like, what sense does that make? Nobody wants to watch the biggest event in college football yearly where an 8-4 Iowa goes in there and shits all over themselves. It's a tournament of champions. It's a tournament of the best contenders that college football has to offer. Get your bum-ass 8-4 Big Ten teams out of here. Nobody cares about you. Nobody gives a shit about Iowa 8-4. This is what happens. You leave Iowa out of one preseason top 25, and now we got to expand the playoffs past the top 25. No, nobody likes Iowa. Nobody wants to keep seeing them in there. Nobody wants 8-4 USC. Nobody wants a 7-5 Wisconsin. Nobody wants any of these bum-ass teams. Nobody wants them. Not any reasonable college football fan. These dumbass elitists. How is it possible you can get together a group of college football elitists who hate everything about college football? How is that even possible? It is a mind-blowing scenario. I'll tell you what, if Tennessee winds up going 7-5 this year, one place I won't want them to be is the playoffs, because any reasonable person knows that if a 7-5 Tennessee team, or any 7-5 team for that matter, waltzes onto a playoff bid, you know what's going to happen? They're going to flop on the floor and they're going to die. This is mind-blowing. They're doing everything they can to fit as many teams into the playoffs as they can so that they can somehow fit they're trying to basically cheat the system and get one of these 8-4 bum-ass teams nobody cares about and then pin them up against some 9-win shitty-ass G5 team that somehow got in there. Some San Diego State. Ooh, San Diego State's in the playoffs. We got to get them included. San Diego State tried really, really hard to get in the playoffs. They may have lost 3 regular season games, but they certainly tried real hard to get in the playoffs. Get you a blue ribbon and fuck off. Nobody cares. So what? You won 9 games, and now we're all supposed to care about your little feelings? Nobody's caring about Florida. Florida went 8-4, 7-5 last year. You think everybody's talking about how Florida should be included in the playoffs? No! Because we're reasonable college football fans. Oh my gosh. We have got This is what I'm talking about. We have got to build back the foundation of college football. All these elitists need to get the hell out of any sort of ideology. They need to just get out of here. They need to go. They need to go somewhere else. They don't need to be in charge of anything revolving around college football anymore because they're trying to take away everything that made college football good. You weren't happy with the BCS national championship, so we had to change the system to a 4-team playoff. You weren't happy with that because they left the poor ACC out. Now we got to move it up to 12 teams. They left the poor Alabama out. They left 9-3 South Carolina and Ole Miss out. The different weeks, Squidtard, the different weeks. Now we got to buff it to 28 teams. And before you know it, you're going to have a 7-5 USC that gets left out, and these Big Ten officials are going to be getting around in a room doing that circle jerk thing again, and they go, you know what we need? We need 50, 60. No, we need 128 teams because everybody wants to see a playoff where they let a one-win Kent State team go in there and get beat by 900 million by Ohio State or Oregon. That's what we all want. I mean, you got to be shitting out of your own ass. I mean, are we being real? I guess we are. I guess we are. Holy crap, dude. Thankfully, any reasonable college football individual, including the ones up there, the elitists, know better than to go ahead and agree with this. So it hasn't gone anything further past an idea. But if it ever does do so, holy shit, I'm not going to know what to do. Oh my goodness. Yeah. No. That summarizing my thoughts on that.
Do you feel better?
Oh yeah. No. To be honest, no, I don't really feel all that much better about it because the fact that this idea was even presented in the first place is absolutely mind-boggling. The fact that you've got people up there controlling what goes on in college football who actually thought this was a good idea, it makes me fear for the sport that we all know and love. I mean, it's absolutely insane. These are the same dumbasses who think ranking Iowa in the preseason is actually a smart idea. It's not. They aren't top 25 material. Just like a 2018 playoff is an incredibly dumb idea that nobody else is going to agree with.
Squid. Buddy, that was a great speech. You know what the one thing
needed to be said
was? You know what the one thing to be said was? Yeah.
The college football playoff is all about there's no inclusion in the college football playoffs. There's no you try real hard, so we're gonna pat you on the back and let you beat up in this 9-win group of 5 team. Nobody's doing that. No, or at least nobody should be doing that. That's at least from my perspective. It's for the best of the best, the best teams, the most elite teams in the college football atmosphere to go in there and play each other. Not these bum-ass 9-win G5 teams, not these 8-win Kentucky or whoever wounds up getting in there. Nobody's going to feel bad about an 8-win LSU, an 8-4 LSU. Nobody's going to be running around saying, well, if LSU was in the playoffs, he'd beat a 12-0 Ohio State. No, any reasonable college football fan knows better. Absolutely asinine how you've got people who think this is a good idea. The foam in your brain is taking over your entire brain. It's proof that the dead internet theory is not just a theory, it's a revelation. Absolutely mind-boggling. Oh my Lord!
Okay, breathe, buddy, breathe.
We got to roll into the next topic, man. I can continue this topic until the end of time.
I need to finish my one point, and then we'll move into the rest. Go
ahead.
The one thing I took away from that entire 5 minutes of just you uninterrupted rambling and yelling and crying, you really don't like Iowa, do you?
I don't like the people who think they're a top 25 team.
The biggest takeaway I took from all that, I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, fuck, Squid really hates Iowa. Jesus Christ.
No, what I hate is when you have all of these college football analysts running around trying to brainwash people into thinking they're a top 25 team. They're not. They never have they been, nor will they will be, because you've seen it for yourself, Red. They rank them in the top 25. They go up to number 21, and then they fall off the face of the earth. We've seen it. You guys have seen it. You can disagree with me all you want to, but it's the truth. You've seen it for yourself. They're out of the top 25 and never appear again post week 3. And then they repeat the same thing every single year. I know Kirk Ferentz has got like a shit tier offense for the past 10 years, but this time his offense might actually be watchable. It never has been. It never will be. Stop trying to brainwash me into thinking it is.
Alrighty. CL Sig387. Drop your Patreon real quick, Squid.
I shut down my Patreon, but I do have my Yeah, there is a channel membership button if you'd like to join there. There's a super chat button. However you show your support, I greatly appreciate it. Though you are a great individual.
He might need he needs a drink after that. All right, let's get to
if you think it's bad now, just wait until the season actually starts.
For real. Let's get to week 0, the soft launch of the 2025 college football season, and we got some games. I'm going to go through a couple of the smaller ones before we get to the big kahuna that everyone wants to talk about. First off, we got the classic matchup, Idaho State at UNLV on the Mountain West Network. No doubt who wins that one. We got ourselves what should be a somewhat competitive game between Sam Houston State and Western Kentucky on CBS Sports Network. Stanford goes to Hawaii, playing on national television on CBS Saturday night in primetime, 7:30. Fresno State will take on Kansas in Kansas's brand spanking new David Booth Memorial Stadium. That not only was a $300 million renovation, but David Booth, the man himself, just dropped another $300 million to finish the renovation and to fund the athletic department. Some say, or some are saying, this could be a trap game for Kansas because Fresno State is not total ass.
Kansas cares about football. First of all, this was mentioned in the chat. You'll be glad to know there are no games on the CW network this week. That's the important thing to take away. Yeah. Actually, really, screw the C. It's the one network. It's like the redheaded stepchild when it comes to like any sort of football networks because it's the hardest to get. It's not in any of the simulcast grounds. You can have 4 games on the screen, like in YouTube TV and stuff. It's the one that you can't get on there. The score bug looks about as bad as the one the Super Bowl used. It's just it's a complete and flat out mess. I feel like being put on the CW. Yeah, I feel like getting put on the CW is a punishment, not just because you're on the CW network to watch your football game and you might even be able to watch it. It's if you even get the chance to watch it, more often than not, your team loses, and then right after they lose, now you got to watch The Big Bang Theory. So we
hope you enjoyed this shitty Pac-12 matchup. Tune in to watch them fight again in 2 weeks, and here is The Big Bang Theory. The whole universe is it up, whatever.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
All right.
I guess we'll start out, just kind of go off on, game by game here. I guess we'll start with Idaho State and UNLV. Well, I'll say this, UNLV has got a lot of hype this year. They're one of the highest rated group of 5 teams this season. They're up there with like Tulane and Boise State for teams that can make a run for the playoffs this season. Because if they're the highest rated group of 5 team, they're going to be in the playoffs. And not only that, but the Minister of Development himself has officially taken over as their coach. Everyone's favorite, specifically Florida fans' favorite, Dan Mullen. And he's got a pretty good team coming in for him. I'll say that much. So they should win this game, and I always cringe a bit whenever I see these ticket prices. Tickets as low as $21. Meanwhile, we just bumped up the talent fee again. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, they bumped up the talent fee again for Tennessee. Another 4% talent fee increase. So now it's up to like 20%. 20% on ticket price increase.
Yeah, I mean,
$700 for one game.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting there to be a ticket crash here soon because they can't just keep raising these ticket prices endlessly. Something's going to break at some point. I mean, I'm going to be probably going to I'm not going to go to an Ohio State game this year. I'm probably going to go to Indiana versus Purdue at the end of the season for the Keg of Nails, because my girlfriend is a big Hoosier fan. She's from Indiana, and might make a pilgrimage to Akron to watch a game there. You know how much the tickets for the Keg of Nails game is right now? Cheapest seats, $50, $40 or $50.
Well, that's not bad.
Purdue and Indiana, in Purdue. So like, you can't beat that. And I go to I got Miami of Ohio, an hour from where I live in Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
$15 for their home opener against UNLV, I think.
That's the great thing about repping a really bad team, is that the ticket prices are so cheap. Some fan bases like Miami, the Miami's the outlier, because no matter how good or bad they are, they'll never be able to sell out their stadium. Nobody wants to go there. And not only that, but their stadium isn't even on campus. They have to rent out the Miami Dolphins stadium. We've seen it before. They've paid people to actually attend their games. They're literally paying people to attend their games. That's how bad that situation is for Miami.
Yeah, I guess if that's going to help anything.
Right.
UNLV is going to win this game. That's not going to be an issue. Idaho State's not an FCS powerhouse that could really compete. Never say never, obviously, but they're going to get their lumps and go home a little bit richer.
We don't know who their starting quarterback's going to be, though, for UNLV. It's between they got two transfer quarterbacks. Virginia's Anthony Colandrea, who we all remember, and then your favorite, Alex Orji, the Orji himself. That's who I'm expecting to be the starting quarterback.
Of course, they have an orgy in Vegas. Anyway,
yeah, either result is hilarious. Yeah.
We're four.
That's the funny. Quite hilarious.
That's not the funny. Okay.
Quite the funny.
I said but yeah, funny.
We're going to have an orgy. Yeah. UNLV is going to kick their ass. Yeah, we can move on now. All right. 6:30 p.m. Saturday. Kansas, the good old Jayhawks. Another Big 12 team that's going to be playing week 0. They're going to be hosting the Fresno State Bulldogs. And while Fresno State isn't really on the leverage that Kansas is, or even on the leverage of, say, a UNLV or Tulane, they're not a bad G5 team. The spread here is Kansas favored by 13. And Kansas, on paper, should win this game. I don't really expect them to have too much trouble with it. But then again, Kansas really, they did not have a good year last season. Who knows how good they're going to be this year? The Fresno State could catch them in a bad position. You never know.
They started off late. They started slow, finished hot. You see the last 5 games they finished off last year. They were kind of like a tornado, running roughshod through the Big 12 and fucking up everybody's season and just making a chaos conference in a nutshell. I think Kansas has the pieces in place to win here. The only thing that I'm going to be curious about to see is the fact that outside of their quarterback coming back, they don't really have anybody else on offense returning. Mm-hmm. So how well are they going to gel early on to start? Because Fresno State, like you said, they're not a bad Group of 5 team. They're usually year in, year out. They usually are able to hang around. Obviously, last year they didn't do as well as they could have, but they could always make some noise if you're not paying attention. So it's a good opener for Kansas to really test out to see how well they're going to play this season.
Right.
That they have going in. It's also going to be a good test for the new offensive coordinator to really see if they can get everything rolling. And it's going to be emotionally charged too, because home stadium is open again.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be butt breaking in the new grounds, and that's obviously going to be a special sight to see. Everybody's back home for the first time in over a year.
Well, I think losing Devin Neal, at least for Kansas, that's going to set up for what I think is going to be a very, very interesting narrative going into this game. Is how well is their offense going to run without Devin Neal? He was basically their entire offense last year. Jalen Daniels had a really disappointing year. But now Kansas has they got a brand new wide receiver core. They picked out a bunch of guys from the transfer portal. So more than likely, I expect a flip. I think they're going to try and go back to the air raid. They're going to try and sling the ball. I don't know. We'll see. They've got a new transfer on the running back core. I think it's LaShawn Williams was his name. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, on paper, Kansas should absolutely win this game. Fresno State's quarterback, EJ Warner, he is a big-time veteran right there. They got him from Rice. So could be interesting. He might I think he'll put up some numbers on Kansas' defense, because I don't think they've got, I don't think Kansas has a great defense. But I think the Jayhawks should, even if this is a close game at halftime, Kansas should pull away.
Yeah, I think Kansas has enough here to pull away and get a solid win. Again, it's really just going to be a test to see how well everybody gels together. They know who their quarterback is going to be, and they got the good wide receivers to handle it. See how well their running back picks up the first game and the offensive coordinator gels up. Defense is a question mark, but I don't think Fresno State has the firepower enough to really make any damage here. And I think should be a win for the Jayhawks to start. And hopefully they get off to a faster start this season than they did last year. They're going to have to do it quick, too.
All right. I could use my Kansas shirt because I don't forget I have a Kansas t-shirt in my closet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'll have to whip that out sometime for college football chaos. All right, next up. This is actually, I mean, I'm still thrown off by this fact. You look at Sam Houston and you think to yourself, oh, wow, it's an FCS versus a G5 team. We aren't used to the fact that Sam Houston is now a part of the FBS. They played in the Conference
National Champions of 2020.
Yeah, not only did Sam Houston play in the Conference USA last season, but they did actually pretty good. They won their bowl game against Georgia Southern, and now they're coming in hot. They're going on the road, and this is a Conference USA game, so we're getting a little bit of that action late night. Yeah. It starts at 7:00.
Yeah,
I
mean, this is going to be an important game for both of them early on. Western Kentucky is going to be favored to win the Conference USA this season. They got close last year before they got absolutely gobsmacked. They opened up. They played Jacksonville State twice. The first week, clearly Jack State was benching their starters because then the next week they whipped their ass 52-12 in the championship game before losing to James Madison in the bowl game. So like it's they're favored to win the game this conference this season. Sam Houston though. I don't know how well they're going to do. I mean, Phil Longo is their new head coach after he got fired as the offensive coordinator for Wisconsin, which we all saw how well that train wreck went last year. So I don't have a ton of hope. He did grab a lot of the guys that liked his offense and brought them from Wisconsin in the transfer portal. Margaret Ventura being one of them. I can't remember who they ended up winning the starting quarterback battle over there or if they've even announced it yet.
Sam Houston,
question marks.
I think it's still Hunter Watson. I think is going to be the starting guy, but they'll probably both get some playing time.
I think. Well, not in this game. I don't think they're gonna have to make up their mind pretty quick because this could be a very important conference game down the road. I mean, West Kentucky's favored; they could win it all.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we still got to consider Liberty, but because they're always going to be lurking. Jacksonville State's going to be rebuilding. They got a new head coach. There's not going to be a lot of opportunity for anybody to really separate themselves. So this is a great opportunity for these two schools to get out in front early and really set the tone for how the rest of their season's going to go here before they get into any non-conference action.
Right. And for Western Kentucky, I mean, Sam Houston definitely got the benefit of the doubt when it came to the transfer portal because Western Kentucky, while they didn't get necessarily marshaled, they got close to it because they are bringing in so many different guys. Their offense is completely unrecognizable from how it was previously. They're bringing in two new starting quarterbacks, Caleb McMinkle and Maverick McIver. He was at Abilene Christian last season. So now he's coming in to the FBS to play for Western Kentucky. I don't even know who's going to get the start over there, but yeah, they've got a brand new line, brand new wide receivers, brand new running back, Lavelle Wright, who I imagine is going to get the start. He also came up from FCS from Austin Peay, and he's coming up. Brand new D-line, brand new. The only guys that actually stuck around, DeMarco Williams, Kent Robinson, they're both members on the secondary. Virgil Marshall, another member back there. Yeah, Noah Myers, who I think could make some noise. But yeah, other than that, no. This is a completely brand new Western Kentucky team we're recognizing. So it's going to come down to coaching, I think. But yeah, if they win this game, that'll put Western Kentucky up front. Who do you got winning this one?
I mean, I'm going to say Western Kentucky. They got a little bit more of a complete team, I think, than Sam Houston does right now. New head coach, a lot of question marks than Western Kentucky has. Plus, the Hilltoppers have a chip on their shoulder after getting ass blasted by Jack State in the conference championship last year. They're going to be pissed. They're going to want to start this one white hot. Plus, they got the home field advantage, too, to open it up. So all that, I'd say, leans in their favor here. And I think the sports books are agreeing with me on that one. If I'm right, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm going to say top
10-point favorite.
I'm going to say Tops take it big on this one, and they get a solid win to start the year and make a run for the conference title, like I was thinking they're going to. But I mean, you never know what this shit. It's Conference USA, the sick man of college football. You never know how this shit's going to shake out.
No, right? They got the point total at 60.5. I hope it lives up to that because that's what I want to see. I don't think the Farmageddon game is going to be high scoring. I don't. So that's what I need. I need at least one of these games that just goes back and forth in the shootout.
Well, then let's talk about that a little bit because I want to know what your thoughts are on Farmageddon and Ireland.
Well, I think we still have 2 more games to cover in week 0 that we'll touch it, or 1 more game.
Well, this fucking thing. This fucking
this pile of AIDS over here. Holy hell. Yeah, let's go ahead and cover them fast.
This fucking wart on a beautiful island. Jesus Christ. Where the fuck do I
whip out the luau because Stanford's coming to town. Oh my goodness.
This is embarrassing. This on CBS. That's going to be forced to be broadcast on the prime time spot to the entire nation.
Please make Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson do this game.
They're going to make them do it. I don't think they can. I don't think they're going to fly them all the way out of Hawaii. But it's going to be. I mean, I shit on Hawaii here, but I am happy that Hawaii is getting some national TV exposure. They fucking need it. They barely got a damn stadium right now. They're not going to have a fully dedicated stadium to them until 2028 now, I think. They pushed back construction on the new Aloha Stadium all the way to then because they're broke as shit.
Well, this is their time to shine in every single season because Hawaii, they play a 13-game schedule more often than not. And
they have to. That's the only way they're able to afford flying to the United States at 6 times a season. Playing big teams and getting paid by them to get beat up, and then getting an extra game by the NCAA. So like they're always going to play week 0 because they have to. What I'm going to be curious to see in this game is Stanford in any way, shape, or form improved going into their second season in the ACC. Because like they were absolutely god fucking awful last year. Like putrid is not even the right word here. Hawaii, they just missed out on a bowl game. Like they barely missed out on one. I think they needed to win another. I think they just needed a little bit of help from somebody. Like I think Colorado State just needed to lose and they didn't. That's why they were able to. They barely missed out on it. So they've been on the rise. They've been coming back a little bit, and I think they got the tools in place this season from what I've seen that they should be able to, make it to a bowl game in Mountain West play. But again, it's really just going to come down to like they got to be able to execute and finish on every single opportunity they get in these games. This is not an easy opponent, Stanford, like it is an ACC team. Hawaii is the favorite to win this game. They are barely favored. I think it's by 2.5 points. So it's
Hawaii's a 2.5 favorite. That's crazy.
It's a field goal split between these two teams. Speaking of, Alejado for Hawaii, Mason Cole 80 for $4.99 is a legitimately good quarterback. They aren't even starting because they got a 4-star UCLA rejected quarterback. So I mean, that kind of proves the point there. They got the depth, they got the talent. Thank you, Mason Cole, for the $4.99.
Or he's talking about DeMarcus for the UCLA guy. Yeah, no, the QB battle is going to be interesting because they got Luke Weaver, who they got from Modesto JC. Yeah, that's the school name, literally. They got him, and then of course Michael Alejado, who that's going to be an interesting battle. And
we have another super chat as well, real quick. Penn State named number 2, but until they beat Oregon and Iowa State, I'll start believing. Been burned far too many times. Thank you. Edge Shadow Bearer 1789 for the $5. Agreed completely. I don't know if Penn State's legit.
We're gonna find out pretty quick though, or at least we'll definitely find out when they did they play in the Horseshoe? They play Ohio State.
Yep, right? They play at Ohio State, and the fuckers on Fox put it at noon.
I know it's why
blackout.
Why do y'all do that?
And it's supposed to be a blackout.
They did it for Oregon, though. They had Oregon at night. Oregon at Penn State. That one's a night game. Here's another one. ISU, OSU. Yeah, we kind of figured you were talking about Ohio State on that one.
Yeah.
Appreciate the $2. All right, well, we talked about Hawaii. Let's touch on Stanford real quick because this is important, too. and this is something I'm going to touch on because I did my Before the Chaos version on the ACC as well. Stanford, this is I guess, meaningless season for them. They've already advertised it as such with the 1-year contract of Frank Reich, the coach of the Panthers of all teams. Yeah, he's coming in for 1 season. It's a 1-year contract. And I think at this point, it's a cop-out for when eventually Andrew Luck is going to take over as the starting head coach, because I think that's going to happen. Yeah, no.
Because you're going to the other coaching backup in case he gets injured on the sideline.
Autopilot. He might. I don't know. Yeah, brain's running on autopilot. Head coaching position is what I meant to say. But yeah, no, I do think Andrew Luck eventually is going to become the head coach of Stanford. But point being, yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting game. Probably the most competitive that we'll see all day, other than the big one, which we'll touch on in a minute. But yeah, they're bringing in quite a few brand new talents. They lost their their starting quarterback, so they're bringing in a new one from Oregon State, Ben Goldbranson, and he had like 1,000 yards passing last year, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But if he doesn't work out, they've also got up and coming Elijah Brown, so they do have a little bit of talent in the quarterback position. They're bringing in some new members on the line. They're bringing in a new wide receiver. C.J. Williams came from Wisconsin. He's coming in, so they've got some talent to work with, but not a whole lot. This is going to be what I think is going to be a pretty bad year for Stanford. And I think they've sort of advertised it that way because of that 1-year contract deal. This is like, we're after the Troy Taylor fiasco, we had barely any time to set up our new team, any time to set up what we got going on. So yeah, we just got to do whatever we can this season, and then eventually we'll start building a program next year.
Yeah, so, it's the closest thing you'll ever see to tanking college football for sure. All right, the main event. Let's get to it.
Okay. Well, real quick, did you have Stanford or Hawaii winning this game?
Oh, I mean, with everything you just described,
it doesn't matter, but yeah.
I mean, I think Hawaii is going to end up eating out the win here. I think they got enough, and Stanford's just an absolute train wreck. So. I'm
riding with Hawaii too. So that would be either result's going to be extremely funny. All right, here we go. The big game. This is the thing everybody's waiting for. It's the kickoff of college football, this 2025 season. Farmageddon in week 0. Number 22 Iowa State versus number 17 Kansas State. This is the 3rd time in history that both of these teams are ranked heading into this game. It's a huge matchup for both of these teams. They are both big-time front runners for the Big 12 title. They've got a lot of hype. They're both bringing in 2. They've kept around these quarterbacks for as long as anybody can remember. And Rocco Becht and Avery Johnson, they're coming back for another year. Both of them have got a lot of hype on them. In terms of the money line, Kansas State is a 3-point favorite. And a lot of that is partly due to the fact that it is a road game for Iowa State. Because the way I see it is, when it comes to betting lines, if it's a road game, then they lean towards the team. They give them a 3-point lean. So basically, if this were a neutral site game, this would be an even matchup right here, completely even money line. So,
but it is an even neutral site game.
Oh, that's right.
Where do you think they're playing the Aer Lingus College Football Classic?
Yeah, right. I thought. See,
Toronto.
Yeah. Whatever. Blah 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 blah. It's in my mind. It's a even game. Who gives a shit? Point.
My God, you need to.
Yeah. Blah 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 blah.
You or me, Squid. Come on, man.
Yeah.
He just completely lost the damn plot.
The plot was lost the moment it began. Point stands here. These are both 2 teams that have a lot of expectations for this year. Big time expectations, not just Big 12 expectations, but playoff expectations. And these are 2 teams, 2 programs that haven't seen any success like the stuff that they've seen as of recently. And if either of them were to make a playoff appearance, it would probably be their best season in history. So lot leaning on this matchup to get them in the front for the Big 12. This is a huge game. So
Agreed.
I guess, Red, you want to take it away here, kind of give your thoughts on who you think's going to win?
Let me just shut the fuck up, Siri. You're picking Kansas State to win the Big 12. Thank you, Void Man, for the 2. Yeah, I understand the thoughts there.
Oh, yeah.
Completely. let's just set the stage to be completely clear here. Both of these teams supposedly are on the upswing this season after last year. Avery Johnson has really matured into his form at Kansas State. He can be a little inconsistent at times. We'll see if that changed going into this season. Rocco Becht is coming back as a quarterback for Iowa State. He was really, really good last season. Again, inconsistent at times as well. Both these teams have strong quarterbacks with a strong wide receiver core, so we have been told. I know that the point total is betting to be over 49.5 on the point total. I think that's pretty true here. I think the only thing that I think that's going to be close. I think we're going to be seeing around that 50-point mark in this game because, to be honest, it's first game. There's going to be first game jitters, and a lot of shit's going to get fucking messed up. But I really like what Iowa State has going for them right now with Rocco Becht. He has been an absolute stud at quarterback at times for the Cyclones. I'm not saying Kansas State can't do it, but they have a really bad reputation of fucking it up at the finish line. And, this is going to be really just grinding the axe and just seeing who's going to go. It can go either way here. I'm going to lean towards the Cyclones to get it done in Ireland. Just because it is a neutral site. If they were playing in Manhattan and Little Apple, I'd say that the Wildcats might have the edge here. But the neutral site's going to level everything out. I think Beck's going to do a little bit better that day than Johnson will. What about you, Squid?
Well, it's like you mentioned. I think you touched on a lot of good points there. It's going to be a really, really tough game. First off, I did want to go ahead and highlight the super chat from Ed Shadow Bear 1789. By the way, Oregon's going to be my first ever whiteout in person. Hope we win. Also, is this season going to be the big game Franklin video year? More than likely, we could absolutely see that happen. We could absolutely see that be the case. Penn State has got more hype as a team than most, pretty much 130 other teams. So yeah. I'd be surprised if they did anything less than make it up to the Final Four teams in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So yeah. All right. Well, back to this game. Yeah, both of these teams are going to be pretty good this year. They've got a lot of hype, got two pretty good offenses and two pretty good defenses. I think some of these, I think they're going to see some drives like that where they potentially could throw picks. I think Avery Johnson will probably throw one. I think Rocco Purdy could potentially throw one too. This is going to be a hard-fought battle between two really, really well-defined teams. And I think the difference here, because both of these teams are pretty much even in terms of talent, they've both got really good coaching staffs, a really good roster, and pretty good wide receiver core. They're both bringing in a lot of talents from the portal. This is going to be a really, really good game between what I think is going to be two pretty good offenses and two pretty good defenses. But I think the difference is going to come down to one individual that I'm really, really high on this year, and that is Mr. Dylan Edwards from Kansas State. This guy, I thought this guy was a massive threat at Colorado, and then I saw him play at Kansas State, and he looked like an even bigger threat because not only have they got him stuffed in the backfield where he's running for, 5 yards or more per carry, but they've also got him as the main return man. And this dude is an absolutely electric punt returner, kick returner, no matter where he's at. He is an absolutely monstrous threat when it comes to all those returns. He had a couple last year. I think he had one really, really nice punt return or kick return for a touchdown. I think we could see a lot of stats for Dylan Edwards. I think he's going to carry the main load for the Wildcats this year. And I think in the end, he's going to get them down the wire. He's going to get them to that point where they win this game. So give me Kansas State to knock out Iowa State and advance to 1-0 in the college football season.
We split the difference. We split the fucking difference.
We sure did.
Let's see who's right next Monday for sure.
Sure will.
Squid, final thoughts on this show for this week as we are at D-Day for college football this season?
Well, I know this for a fact. From this point onward, all of our shows are probably going to be 90 minutes or more because from this point onward, man, this is it. This is the start of the season. We are going to be filled with so much content from this point onward up until probably February. We're going to have so much to talk about every single week. We're going to be touching on a whole lot of things because, as we all know, the only constant in college football is chaos. So We're going to get a whole lot of that this week. We're going to get even more of it than the next week, because if you think the chaos is going to be bad in this Saturday, just wait till next Saturday when all of our teams play, including our two teams who have already announced their starting quarterbacks.
Nuts, dude. Like, legit, this is going to get nuts. Like, this is an appetizer. This is just to wet your tongue and really get another taste.
Getting you ready. It's like the NFL preseason, but it's not meaningless. So
exactly, this shit means everything.
It means something to me.
My final thoughts are, we're going to probably be going over 90 minutes every week going forward the rest of the way, because we do have a lot that we'll have to get through. But I'm just going to be – I'm ready to go. It's going to be a busy season for both of us, my friend. I'm excited to stream the Farmageddon game on my channel this Saturday. I'll be doing that, and we're going to watch it all together. And then here we go with week one soon after that. So, I mean, thank you very much, everybody, for watching the show. This has been a lot of fun. It's good to have you back in the chair this week, Squid. I struggled last week, admittedly. But then again, it wasn't my fault that the stream ended early because of your stupid ass. So it is what it is. I forgive you, buddy. I forgive you. I know you weren't trying to sabotage.
Not much is in here, so you got to take that into consideration.
Yeah, I know you're about as hollow as the average heart of a Tennessee fan. It's okay. Yeah. I understand.
Blah blah blah
I
blah blah.
Understand.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and answer this question. If I do stream the game, we'll probably end up doing it separately, just because I do all of my reaction streams through OBS, because that's where I have all my stingers and such. But if whatever Red's doing that day, you make sure and go support him as well.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate that. But by the way, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna send your ass some Hawkeyes merch. You're gonna get some, because clearly you have a vendetta against that fucking team, and I have no problem shitting in the punch bowl. Just saying.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, I won't complain. I'll just make sure to draw number 25 on there to represent their preseason ranking for the very next year, because because we know that's going to happen. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate all of you guys watching this rendition of the FBS Report. We'll see you guys next Monday for Week 0 review and Week 1 preview. The season is beginning. And it'll be sooner or later that it'll blast past us. And it's getting to that point now, Red, where a lot of teams, this is it. All these fan bases have been yapping this entire offseason. The time for talk is over. Now it's results. And we're going to see a
put
lot.
Up or shut up time, everybody.
Exactly. And we're going to see a lot of fan bases shut up after this week. That's all I know. Well, I appreciate you being on with me, buddy. Appreciate all you guys, especially the ones that sent super chats.
Likewise.
Love all of you guys. You're all great people. We'll see y'all next week. And as always, of course, power to Tardaria. And we'll see y'all next time.
Hell yeah. I'll see you all later. Don't be fucking stupid.